GeekyKOOL presents The Professor and Ace, episode 16.
Yay!
Hey guys, this is episode 16. We are so graced to have the Nerd Informants, Tim and Josh, with us tonight. Ace and I were able to grab them. We feel very lucky. Say hi, guys.
Hey,
Howdy.
What is going on, everybody?
Hello.
Be informed, right? Yes.
Yeah.
Favorite nerds in my geek. I love it.
This is the perfect environment. I mean, you know, the invite came out and we're like, we're happy to be here. The water is warm. Jump into the nerdy pool head first.
Just swim. I live in it. I just swim in it all the time. So.
Well, I'm the same way. You know, I grew up with my father reading comic books before me. So he was reading comics back in the 50s and 60s, and then continued. He had, in fact, a mail subscription because, you know, you couldn't just buy you could buy comics at supermarket and stuff like that, but there was no comic book stores. So he had a subscription for Legion of Superheroes and Justice League that would come in the mail every month. And so that's where I picked up my first nerdom. Now I've taken it to much further extremes and variations than he did, but yeah, that's where I started. So I've grown into this because of heredity. So,
I think. Go ahead, AJ.
I was gonna say I did not like. I remember the first comic book I bought was Wonder Woman, and we were at the grocery store and it was on the thing, and I was just like, Wonder Woman. My mom made me buy an Archie comic to go with it because she was afraid Wonder Woman would be too extreme for me because I was like 5. And I just never stopped. But nobody in my family is really nerdy. Like nobody. My mom was really into horror movies, but that's pretty much it. Like she was Stephen King, but that's it.
How did you fall off the gene pool and into nerddom? How did this happen?
I feel like I never fit in with my family. I never fit in. Like I was raised in a very religious background, and so I just kind of completely disregarded all of childhood. My mom was very good about being an independent thinker, and so she was like, if you really like it, we'll let you do that. And that was the one thing that she was really determined to do. And like I could go to any church I wanted, I could read anything I wanted, and so I've just always been into movies and books and comics and history and just nerdy, geeky, all around stuff. And so, yeah, that's where I started.
I think that AJ and I think you and I were clearly separated at birth. I say this because it was really the same thing for me growing up when it comes to movies. When my mother had me, before, I made my entrance into the world, she was watching Westerns in the hospital while she was in labor with me. And I believe it was Lonesome Dove or Gunsmoke or something like that. And she was probably had the portable VCR on her belly. So I could feel the vibrations of the VCR, but I could also hear everything. And so I came out of the womb basically spouting off movie quotes. It's a rare thing, but it does happen.
Yes.
Doctors were baffled.
Instead of screaming, it was movie quotes. There you go.
Yes.
Well, I mean, my dad, I grew up with the Star Trek and the Star Wars and the Indiana Jones and, all those great films and TV shows from his childhood that he grew up with was just passed down to me. But I honestly didn't get into the comic books and the comic action side of things until I was well out of college. I didn't fit in. I didn't really have an in-group in high school or college. I was the theater nerd. I thought that's where I belonged. But it really wasn't until after college that I had one of my former bosses, the great Mr. Ed Button, bought me my first comic book, which was a Deadpool comic book. I immediately read it, fell in love with it. A few months later, he took me to my first Comic-Con, and I finally looked around and realized these are my people. This is where I belong. And since then, I've been busy.
Yeah. Well, I'm actually with you with the drama nerd thing, because that's actually a lot of my background was in high school and in college. I was a theater minor in college, so yeah, love my drama friends, and they actually kind of feed into this also.
Larry, what was the biggest play you were in?
Oh, and see, I had very minor roles. I was the the third guy doing this. So I did do. I was in Shakespeare's A Midsummer Night's Dream, but again, not a starring role, just a couple minor roles that I played. But I always loved theater. Theater was great. We would do a lot of director scenes. So those of us that were doing directing class, you have to get actors to do your scenes. And so I was constantly doing that. My favorite scene was with my high school best friend. We were in it together doing The Odd Couple. And that was so much fun because we kind of fit that. So,
oh, that would have been amazing to see.
Yeah, that was great.
You guys got all like the meaty roles. I got to play like some like subgenre James Bond pirate in a presentation of Peter Pan in high school. That's really as far as my acting career went. Although I wanted to be an actor when I was younger. The radio stuff came way later in my life. But like I went to the Embassy Suites up in St. Louis shortly after I got out of high school because I auditioned to get access into the AMDA Academy up in New York.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
It's a story that has not gotten around my friend circle, but I remember it very well because one of my favorite movies growing up, I'm kind of a weirdo, Of Mice and Men with Gary Sinise and John Malkovich.
Yes. Yeah.
So I basically auditioned a piece from the book to get access to the AMDA Academy, and I got in. But as you can tell, I am not an actor because the costs to get into the AMDA Academy were absolutely ridiculous. I would have taken out at least 2 or 3 mortgages at the age of like 19 to go to school up there. So I went the other direction.
Yeah, black market kidneys weren't going for what they're going for now. Back then.
Aside from like selling yourself on the street in New York City, that's a whole different ballgame itself.
That was a fun summer. See, I was expecting you to tell me that you auditioned as your James Bond pirate role, and that's what got you in. Because I was going to say you were in that play, and then you never broke character. You've still been rocking the James Bond pirate for the last 30 years.
Yep, it's when I get into spandex on the weekend, guys. Oh, yes.
There could be a series on YouTube right there.
Indeed. Yes, it could. Would you like to see some goo? Yes, just put Josh in spandex. You might get one after watching the YouTube channel.
All right, guys, we got a couple of comments on our videos on our video already from our buddy Keith over at Pop Culture Minefield. He says head first and rock on. So he's checking us out also. We appreciate that, Keith. Keith and Gary was on with us last week. We're glad to have you with us, Keith. And here we go. James Bond pirate. Cool. So
hey, you better believe it, Keith. And I'll tell Keith, since he's in the room, I'll tell him exactly what my name was. I played the role of Morgan Skylights. Yes, Bond, James Bond. But it was Morgan Skylights. I mean, they probably could have been feeding me alcohol in high school. I have no idea.
Rum, bottled, not barreled.
Why is the rum always gone? Why?
That name seriously reminds me of like bad romance novels. Like seriously, like
doesn't it?
Yeah, I like Fabio, like with the hair flowing. I can see.
Larry, don't let AJ fool you. She actually loves Fabio. Huge Fabio fan.
I'm not.
We've seen the posters, AJ. It's okay.
Do you see who I'm with? I don't like long flowing hair. My man's bald.
Larry, I'm telling you, on your next episode, you need to force AJ to take a tour of the kitchen, because when she gets to the fridge, check out all the expired I can't believe it's not butter that she keeps.
See, I've been in her house before, but I don't think I checked out her fridge. So
see, there you go. I'm telling you.
And Keith does say way cool Morgan Skylights. Most definitely.
Boom.
Yeah, there we go.
Well, like I really want the
cosplay as Morgan Skylights.
Yes.
Oh man, I would have so much. If I tried to get into that costume now at 41, guys, I will tell you it would be illegal for me to be showing that much crack at a con.
Crack kills.
Yeah.
In this case, it would.
You know that there's a person who can make you a whole new costume.
Oh dear.
Yeah, Larry's great at costumes. Didn't you know that?
Would I have to have my leg sawed off? I'm just curious, but I will rock the patch. Okay, AJ, you and I are going to talk about this.
Okay.
This is going to go down in history.
Hey, what's up, Kyle? Kyle is in the house. Welcome to the show.
He is. Kyle is in the house with us. He's one of the people watching. We appreciate that, Kyle. We appreciate you guys watching. Feel free to leave comments. We will click on your comments and bring those up with us. Wanted to, before we waste away the entire time, just kind of talk about, and this is fun. I love hanging with you guys. You guys are awesome. Anytime I'm at a con with you guys, I know it's going to be a great time. So,
Right back, guys.
all right. Ace is going to take going off for just a moment, but we'll go on without her real quick. Keith has one more comment here for us.
The clothes fit. What can I say? Keith, you talking about my clothes? Or you talking about your clothes? Because my clothes are dude, I've put on my COVID 275. Let me just put it to you this way. I'm starting to miss my feet. It's scary. It's really scary, guys.
I get it. I shorts I was wearing last year don't fit, so I'm wearing like the stretchy shorts right now. I'm like, yeah, I can do this. I'm staying at home working. Yeah, this is working for me. Sure.
Larry, is that not like a sure sign, buddy, of like when you have to go out and you have to get the Expandomatic pants and the jeans and the shorts, you're sitting there thinking, oh my God, I've officially become my father and my grandfather. There is no turning back now.
Yeah, I agree. And unfortunately, I hit that magical age last week. So I'm like, okay, crap. So, here's what Keith has to say for us. He's going to cosplay himself there.
You know, that we should all be comfortable in our own skin to cosplay as ourselves. I have not taken my mask off in years. because the clothes fit. That's the perfect reason, man.
Yeah, I wish mine did. Now, actually, in the last week, I've lost 6 pounds, so I'm actually pretty excited to get going on it.
Okay, how did you do it?
Honestly, I went to the gym and started lifting weights. So
it works, man. It's crazy, but it does.
See,
it does.
I'm the weirdo, dude. Like Larry, I don't know if I told you, I had my COVID-19 scare a couple of weeks back. I was sick for a week, and man, I had all the symptoms, and had my COVID test, and thank goodness it came back and it was negative. But on the outset of that, man, I mean, once you have the test done and you've had the symptoms and you don't know if you're sick or not, it changes your perspective on the other side. Like, I would love to go to the gym and work out, but where I go, they had a COVID positive come through the gym.
Right.
So I don't want to take the risk, man. I mean, honestly, I guess I'm the nerd that COVID scares the hell out of.
No, I get that. I've actually been pretty much staying at home, and that's been kind of part of the problem is you're home, you're near the fridge, and I wasn't doing any working out. I don't know if you guys heard, I had a tree fall through the middle of my house back in the beginning of June.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, it at 5:15 in the morning, a big oak tree fell through my house, through my kids' rooms, through the living room, the bathroom. Yeah, it was pretty scary. So we're now living in an apartment, which that's fine. It's been kind of a weird process, but yeah, it freaks you out. You're just grateful that your kids are fine and your family is fine, and my cat was fine and my Mustang was fine, so I'm all right.
Wow. I would ask how much damage it did to the house, but that's only if you want to go that route. So.
No, sure. So basically, right now we're sitting just below $100,000 of damage to the house, and that's if they don't find anything else out. So.
Oh man.
So, the oak tree was probably 100 years old, and the roots were super huge. The thing was healthy as could be. It was during a storm after we had rain day after day after day after day. The ground was saturated, and we had a thunderstorm in the right after 5 o'clock in the morning, where it had microbursts, which are downward blasts of the wind. So basically, it went from blowing sideways at 70 miles an hour, 80 miles an hour, which that tree stood many times, to having it hit right down below it and just shoving it over into our house.
Man.
So yeah, it was scary, very scary. But so I say that to say, I said all that to say, I now live at a place that has a gym attached to it, and nobody's ever in there working out. So I take my stuff in, spray stuff down, and do that because nobody's in there anyway. I've had one person in there beside me the whole time, and so I'm like, well, I'll just go start working out and started lifting some weights. I'm like, okay, because I know the doctor said at your age, lifting weights becomes more important than doing the treadmill or aerobic. Lifting weights actually supposed to get your get the body grooving back to where it moves your metabolism up. So I'm like, okay, well, here I am back to lifting weights. So, but yeah, anyway, but let's get past all that because that's the crazy part. You're back. Welcome back, Ace.
Yeah, school is running errands, and so I have his daughter, and she's doing homeschooling, and we're testing that out. And she had a question about math, so I had to run real fast to help her.
Well,
so.
Yay, Mom!
That adds up.
Stepmom thing, I guess. Yeah. I mean, I love her. Don't get me wrong, I love her, but yeah, I did not expect to be a stepmom at my age. So I'm a grandma, people.
Hey, we still don't believe that you're a grandma, AJ. We know that you're drinking the blood of 1,000 elves every day.
I told you, elves are easier to find than virgins.
No.
We don't want to see your basement anytime soon because we know what you might have chained up there.
All right. Keith says geeks nerds are more often than not self-isolated, and that's true. A lot of times we do self-isolate there. Yeah.
I've been mastering this quarantine stuff for years. I don't know why everybody's freaking out. Stay in your house for 3-4 weeks.
Don't ask him how many box sets he's gotten through.
I have watched so much stuff on Netflix. I ran out of my list. I had a list for 2 years, and Boo and I just went through and we watched everything on Netflix, everything on Amazon, everything on Hulu. There's another one we watched, but we had all of them done by May. So we were like, what else can we watch?
Well, all I know is I've not had that extra time. I know a lot of people have, but of course I'm still working from home, doing my job from from home, which kind of got messed up with the whole tree thing. But back to doing that. But I've not had the extra time, so I've watched some stuff, but I'm not catching up. So.
Oh.
Yeah. They keep elves.
We don't talk about the elves, okay?
Yeah, AJ's like, yes, I get the cookies and the blood. It's a win-win situation for everybody.
2 birds, 1 stone.
Exactly. Yeah.
2 elves, 1 stone.
I get through the cookies and Lex the cookies. I get the blood. It's all good. We're all good. Don't judge.
No judgment here. So guys, what are some of the movies, because we've all been kind of dying to get back to the theater to watch some movies, and
Yes.
so much has been postponed, so much that we were looking forward to. What coming up are you guys looking forward to seeing? Actually hit the theaters and actually watching in the theaters with the popcorn and all that.
Well, I did my homework a little bit before the interview tonight. So I was, doing the cheat sheet, jotting down things that I knew I wanted to talk about. I think Tim did the same, but he's going smaller. He's got everything on his phone. But, I will say this to anybody that's watching the show tonight, and Larry, I think you might agree with me, and AJ, you too, is that the movie scenario right now, it scares the daylights out of me.
Yeah.
And we've been ticking off our fans left and right on our Facebook page because we seem to be the bearer of bad news, way too much when it comes to Warner Brothers. Thank you very much. And several others. But, we're going to be very, very lucky if we actually get a legitimate release slate for this year.
Mm-hmm.
So, you go out to October, you go out to November and December, we've still got some big budget films that are slated at that time.
Yep.
But I think right now what has happened, especially with Tenet, I think that gives us a very strong indicator that the rest of the year is definitely not safe. But these major cinema chains, guys, I tell you what, they need films like Tenet to stay put, or at least stay in 2020, because I mean, I give credit to the IMAX, our local theater here, cinema chains all across the country that, you know, they're going out and they're paying Warner Brothers, they're paying New Line, they're paying whoever to bring these classic films in. I mean, it says something with Beauty and the Beast from Emma Watson is #1 at the box office right now.
Right.
And then you've got the Goonies, which is #5 in the top 10. That says a lot about what the theaters are doing to try and stay alive, but that only goes so far. So, you know, I just kind of didn't want to get off on a tangent on the box there, but the rest of the year scares me if these films keep shuffling out. And Tenet really scares me because that just reminds us that the rest of the year isn't safe.
Yeah, 100%.
I was so excited about the movie lineup for this year. Like back in March, what we were seeing that was supposed to be coming out. I was super excited. Everything kept getting pushed back and pushed back. Some of them have like been pushed so far back, like Halloween Kills is pushed back. Supposed to be released October of this year because it's Halloween. But because they had to push it back, they decided to push it back all the way to October of next year.
Right.
And that to me, just one, it showcases that none of the movies that we thought we were going to get to see this year are safe. I know that a lot of them we're talking about doing direct, you know, to video on demand and stuff, but I don't know if they're going to do that with the ones that I'm really excited about doing. And
it's the experience there. I mean, is not the same. I mean, obviously they've released stuff to streaming, whether it would be Disney Plus. I mean, Onward is a good example of that being done that way and then having success. Trolls, the same thing. It wasn't really talked about that much on the box office science, but it did very well on digital being released that way. But I look at the rest of the slate for the year, guys, and I will say this: I can't see them doing that with, let's say, Mulan or Black Widow. I just cannot see that happening. Would it be successful and make a ton of money? Yes, but there's just something about that just would not feel right.
Yeah, I do feel that Disney especially Disney, is just super loyal to the movie theaters and cinemas. I mean, the contracts that they put out there and the relationship that's between those guys, I don't see them doing the VOD or going, you know, I don't see Black Widow going straight to Disney Plus. Like, I really don't think that's going to happen. As much as fans may want that to happen, I don't think that's going to be the case. I
don't think that's going to be the case unless we're going into a year from now and we're still in the same situation.
Yeah. Good point.
Now, and we're in the same situation. I feel like that's going to have movie companies are going to have to readjust, even if they want to be loyal and even if they are trying really hard to keep the movie going experience alive. Like, they're also a business, and so if we're a year from now and we haven't been able to have any major movies released, I feel like that's where it's going to go. And that to me is really sad. Like, I love going to the movie theater. That's how I met Tim and Josh, as I worked at the movie theater. Today I went and saw Wizard of Oz at the movie theater, which I love that they're doing that, and they're getting those movies and stuff. I went and seen Goonies last week. I have something I'm going to go see next week that's going to be on the IMAX big screen. But it's just, it scares me because I love going to the movies so much. Like, the movie going experience to me is almost as important as the movie I see. Sometimes I go see really bad movies at the movie theater just because I love them.
You've never done that.
Oh God. But no, I just think that hopefully we get back to some kind of norm in that business and in that arena. But I do feel like if we're in May or June of next year and we haven't yet, I do feel like all of the big movie companies are going to have to adjust to, and we will be seeing like stuff like Black Widow on video on demand. I don't think this year, but if we're in next year and we're still in this situation, I feel like that might be the situation that happens.
Yeah, you know, and we're all reminded of just how close AMC came to going complete belly up. That was in the news, and we were posting that quite a bit on Facebook. But you know, kind of switching back to gears a little bit, going back to the month of August coming up, there's still a few tentpole releases. There's not much in the month of August, but there's 3 so far that could jumpstart the movie-going season and kind of fill that void for Tenet, because that's, delayed indefinitely, and we still have yet to see a concrete release date on that on the other side. Mm-hmm. So I'll allow me to start for August. I would just say the ones that are on my list for the month of August as of right now, and I would say to everybody watching, take everything I say with an ounce of Corona, because this could change and everything I say is going to be nullified. But I look at August, I think Disney's Mulan. I think Bill and Ted Face the Music, which is my number 1. That is above everything else. And then The New Mutants, which will finally see the light of day. And I think that one's going to do big box office. It's probably going to be, I want to hope that it's good, but it's probably going to be horrendous, but it's still going to do big box office. But those are my 3 for August, with Bill and Ted being right there at the top. I am so stoked for that. If that movie gets bumped, I can deal with Tenet, because Christopher Nolan, I'm not really high up on the Nolan hype train, if you will. But if Bill and Ted Face the Music gets delayed, I might not be on this earth much longer. Yeah.
I'm not ready to take it that far myself, but Face the Music is high on my list. But honestly, we might have a situation where the nerd community might revolt if The New Mutants does not make it into theaters and gets delayed for a gazillionth time.
Yeah.
We want to see this movie. I don't care if we have to break into, Marvel Studios headquarters to watch this film.
I'm not prepared to take it that far.
We might have to do a fanboy type situation, breaking into the branch to watch this movie, because frankly, I feel like the characters in this movie are going to be retired from acting by the time we actually get in there to watch it. So that's definitely a worry of mine.
Hey, look, if Anya Taylor-Joy gets as old as Sharon Stone by the time this movie comes out, we've got a serious problem.
It is a big concern, though. Because if you take the amount of time that movies take to make, take to edit and stuff, you're looking at 1 to 3 years, depending on the movie, before it even comes out. And so if they're planning on having sequels to these things, and they're younger actors, they're not going to be able to use the same actors. And if they are, they're going to have to jump forward so much in the timeline that it's going to change the story, what they wanted to do. And that's a big issue. Now, something like Bill and Ted, that's my number 1 choice for August as well. I've been looking forward to it since before it was announced. But we've waited so long. If it gets pushed back, I don't think it's going to hurt anything further in that storyline.
And Larry, you might have an opinion on this as well, but I don't think Fox was worried about it at all, because obviously the Disney acquisition, that's one thing. Yeah. I don't think Disney is worried about where this film comes out, because if they were, we would have seen it by now. We probably all would have owned it on home video at this point. And I think the reason why Disney is not worried about the New Mutants so much is because they've got acquisition, they've got Marvel now, they've got the X-Men. This to them is a one-off, so they can let this sucker sit. And maybe from a strategic marketing standpoint, maybe Disney knows something that we don't. And maybe they're looking at the projections and the numbers going, the more we sit on this, the larger the anticipation grows. I think this is a film, it's a rare thing where the anticipation is not going to die until it comes out. And I think Disney knows something that we don't. I think that's why they're holding off on it, honestly.
That's a good point.
No, I agree with you. So to kind of, Bill and Ted's is right up there on my list. New Mutants is probably right above it though for that. So Bill and Ted's, I've been waiting since Bogus Journey, right? This is, exactly. So I'm real excited when I saw these guys are going to go remake this, and what kind of the general plot line was. I'm like, oh, I'm so in. This has to be seen in the theater. This just looks like fun, and I'm super stoked for Bill and Ted's. It can sit a little longer just because we can time travel in their phone booth. So we have that. So we'll do that. New Mutants is really interesting because as much as I dreaded all of the latest X-Men movies coming up, where I've been like, I'm going to go see this, but I'm just not convinced this is worth my time. New Mutants was one of those that I got in at the beginning when I was reading comic books. I was reading X-Men. I just got into X-Men, and Chris Claremont put out a new comic called New Mutants with the younger kids, and I love these characters. I've been following the main set of characters since issue number 1 of New Mutants. So I want to see them on the big screen. And the fact that they're doing the storyline that they're doing, which is one of my favorite ones from the comic book, that just has me enthralled. Now, will I leave upset on how they took the story or something like that? Very possible. It may be a huge pile, and maybe that's why Disney's waiting on it. But I'm still excited to see these guys on screen. I'm hoping we will actually say, well, all right, Fox got something right with the X-Men by releasing it this way. I don't know. We'll see.
Hey, you know what? It could be like the last gasp effort of the vengeful spirit of Brett Ratner. We could get last standed with this. So there is that fear in the back of my nerdy little heart brain that I'm like, I'm gonna go watch this and it's gonna be like a last stand level bad. But I have hope that that's not gonna happen.
I do too. I have big hope this is gonna be good.
I love the X-Men and I love the New Mutants. These are comics that I love. I don't think I've seen an X-Men movie where I was like left there going, yay! Yes. That's a lot. There's a lot of movies. I mean, I went, yeah, it's okay. But yeah, I'm hoping that somebody gets it right sometime.
Yeah.
My little girl heart goes, please.
We've got a few comics, guys. Let me throw the comments out here real quick, and then we'll get back to this. All right, CJ. Yeah. Keith has a montage of things for us here. Bad Boys 3, which is really funny that could be the most successful and possibly Academy Award winner. That's hysterical. Wonder Woman, Black Widow, No Time to Die will not be going to stream. Right, we know that. And those are all 3 movies I think we're all anxious to see, but we know that they're probably going to get pushed back further. So I'm hoping Wonder Woman can come out, Black Widow can come out when they're supposed to, but we'll see. So far, No Time to Die has paid off its production costs, so the film can take. That's good to know. I mean, I'm kind of sad with that being the final one for him, but that I get that COVID situation, just nature reason, and that's true. You know, the Gotham PD series, which is really interesting that they're like redoing the show Gotham, but. Well, not yeah.
There's so many things that, and Josh and I were talking about this when he was doing his little test. Just so many things that this world is so different now than it was like back in February.
Right.
And I thought I would be having a conversation with people about what if no movies come out this year, like no major movies. Like that to me is very scary. Like
we really have to prepare ourselves for that, honestly, as much as I hate to say that, and as much as I would hate to put another Facebook post out to our community saying that another shift in the schedule has happened. I mean, I fear that could be the case. But on the back end of that, I think if that is what happens, you know, I think Hollywood needs to step up and they need to show support to theater chains. They need to put campaigns together to push the government to support that because it is an art. It is a medium, and it is just as ingrained as our culture as Americans as sports is.
Right.
Baseball, football, movies and film are America's pastime. It is America's present, and it is America's future. Not that I sound like the president of the United States or some kind of a senator, but it needs to be protected, in my opinion. And if we are facing the rest of the year where films are not coming out, I feel that Hollywood and the film studios need to make their back libraries and their catalogs affordable and easily accessible to theaters. So if theaters are facing a financial crisis and they're trying to get back in the black from the red, they shouldn't have to pay $400 for a film that has not seen the light of day in circulation for 20 and 30 years.
Right.
So, let Goonies is out there now. That's great. Let's go ahead and bring it out there, but let's not charge the theaters an arm and a leg to show that, because I want to go and see it. The IMAX set the bar and a good example for reducing the price of the IMAX films in the Elite Cinema 3 for these classic movies. I mean, I went and saw the Goonies just like you did, AJ. I love paying $6 for it. To me, that was money well spent. And I hope everybody got out and got a chance to see that. But that's what I think needs to happen.
Yeah, honestly, I couldn't agree more. Going to the IMAX on Sunday and getting my chance to watch The Wizard of Oz for the first time probably in over a decade, but to get to see it on the big screen and get to laugh along with the community again. Yeah. Josh and I's second home, honestly, is the Branson IMAX. We've got a fantastic relationship with those guys. They've been amazing to us since Nerd Informants started, nearly 5 years ago now. And frankly, it's like a second home to us. And the people who work there are like family to us. So getting to go back and visit with some of those guys last Sunday did my heart good, definitely. But the fact that those guys are back at work and they're bringing home a paycheck again, it's just tremendous that that's taking place. And so shout out to the IMAX and the other other theaters across the country who are taking advantage of those old catalog films. And I agree with Josh wholeheartedly that the companies in Hollywood need to make sure that these things are being done affordably in order to make this happen. Because if theaters can't open, new movies don't have anywhere to play. Yep. And if new movies don't have anywhere to play, theaters aren't going to reopen. It's kind of a back and forth effect that is never going to end if somebody doesn't take a first step. And so places like the Branson IMAX have taken that first step. They've reopened. They're showing the old goodies, the Goonies and Wizard of Oz and Space Jam. And there's people going out to see them. I was so happy to see people there on Sunday joining me for a matinee on Sunday to go out to the movies. So congratulations to the theaters that are getting to do this.
There were 5 of us there today, but and I know it's slow getting back because people are still not sure what's playing and stuff like that. But yeah, if you're in Branson, check out the Branson IMAX. But even if you're not in Branson, if you're anywhere else watching us, check your local theaters. A lot of them are opening back up and are doing the older movies and stuff. And like Tim and Josh both said, those things, the older movies, I know I was really excited about seeing Goonies because I never saw it on the big screen when it came out. My mom wouldn't let me. And The Wizard of Oz, when it came out, I wasn't alive. So I'm not that old. No matter how many elves. But seeing it on the big screen, and we took Lex to see it. So it was all safe. They keep, they have social distancing still. They have the hand sanitizer. They're doing what they can to keep us safe while we go and see a movie. And but go out and support your local theaters because, like they said, if they don't get support now, they may never reopen.
Right. And
never reopen, that means the movie theater experience is never going to be the same. And to me, that's a thing I just can't even imagine a world without. But yeah, I went and seen Goonies last week and went and seen Wizard of Oz today. And I know they're going to be showing something really, I don't know if it's been released yet, so I don't know if I can say it, but they're showing something on the big screen next week that I'm totally excited about going to see. So check their website out and stuff like that.
Yeah, no, well, we Tim broke the news on that to me, and I don't know if we can talk about it, but
I think we can officially talk about it tomorrow. I think that's when it's going to officially break. So definitely stay tuned to BransonIMAX.com because they got something really cool planned.
This is one of those moments, gang, for anybody watching the show is just you're going to want to put this on your must-visit list. This is going to be for some of us, many of us out there, depending upon your age. As far as I'm concerned, movie-wise, it's a bucket list item for me. So I will be there for it. So
yeah, 100%, guys.
Great. It's going on. I'll tell you after.
Okay, because I was going to say I'm the only one who doesn't know, so that's okay. But yeah, and I don't live in Branson, but that's okay. I'm not that far. All right,
you're going to like it, Larry.
Well, it sounds exciting. I'm looking forward to hearing what it is. We've got a few more comments here, guys. Let's throw these up here.
Oh, hey, my mom and dad.
Hey, Mom. Hey, Dad.
We're glad to have you guys watching with us. That's awesome. Yes, Keith, I know it's not really a remake, but it sounds like the same premise to me. I went, didn't we already have that on NBC? I don't know. Dune. Yes, Dune. If you do Dune right, that would be awesome. I'm with you. I hear it's going to be good. And
in Denis Villeneuve, I trust.
And I think I could get behind this. I think I totally could get behind this.
Where does that start, CJ? I mean, does that start with me running for alderman here in the area, and then for mayor, and then for governor, and then senator, and then president?
Josh, you just need a rich guy that can sponsor you. That's all you need.
Yeah, that's what it's all about, you know, lobbying and taking money from seedy donors and all that stuff. You know, honestly, I would be like the anti-Trump. I would have equal amounts the temper, but I would actually do things the right way. That's the big difference.
And twice the amount of Burger King.
Well, I would vote for you, Josh. So just tell me where to sign up and what to do. We'll get you elected.
Larry, I love you, and I don't care if you're not a baby. I would still kiss you.
Guys, now I'm going to come home and find him, you know, signing babies and kissing hands.
I just know a lot of my nerdy girlfriends are like watching this going, wait, if we vote for Josh, will he kiss us? Is that what discussed?
Just given what I know some candidates have gone through doing that now in this era, no, I'm not going to be doing that.
Let's not put that out there.
It's
fake news. Fake news.
Fake news. Fake news.
Look, CJ's ready for it.
Man, we've got something here. I mean, Larry, I don't know, Larry, you want to be my VP? You and Tim, we'll put all of you guys in the administration.
Department of Defense. I claim it. Dibs. Have you guys seen Tim? Well, he's been playing with the nukes. He's out there seeing how fast he can turn on and off the red button.
How do you make your strategic policy decisions, sir? Well, it's a lot of Animal Crossing. That's going on. That's how decisions are made around here.
It's a 50-50 chance. Depends on what side the coin lands on.
And guys, that really is not bad compared to what we've seen. So,
amen.
All right.
Well,
so not to talk politics, just, you know, if you could give me a third candidate between these two of anybody, I don't know, just someone, please.
I don't know. I'm not 35 yet. Can I be vice president still?
You can. You just can't be president.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Hey,
So
we're set. We're groovy.
By the time this happens and I actually achieve White House status, I'll be dead.
It'd be like Weekend at Bernie's.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's perfect, by the way. And great movie drop, by the way, sir. One of my favorite films of all time. Love Weekend at Bernie's.
2, not so much.
Yeah. The first one, oh man, awesome. Bring that back. I mean, you know,
yes.
I don't want to get too far off on a tangent. I'll help us move into September if you'll allow me. And yes, Keith, Lex Luthor. Some men just want to watch the world burn, like the one that's in the White House right now. I know. I went there. I'm sorry.
You forgot the cough.
The month of September, I think you guys will agree with me. Not as big as some of the other months, especially October and December.
Right.
There are 2 little gems coming out that month as of right now. But again, take your shot of Rona, people, because, I mean, I could be lying to you. On my list is A Quiet Place Part 2.
Mm-hmm.
And alongside that, The King's Man.
Yeah.
Looking forward to both of those, because if The King's Man really sets up the exposition, gives us the fun, gives us the fighting, and gives us a story that we want, I think that one's gonna be a hidden secret for the going into the latter part of the year. Really looking forward to that. I love Ralph Fiennes. I think he's gonna be awesome in that movie, and it's got a stacked cast. And then of course, I'm looking for the story expansion in A Quiet Place Part 2, and I love Emily Blunt. And then I'm interested about John Krasinski's cameo in the film. It's got to be a flashback, but maybe there's a twist in there. Maybe there's something that we forgot about in the first film that he's going to expand upon. But that looks like a tight thriller. And can I just say, it's good to see Cillian Murphy back on my movie theater screen. It's been far too long.
Yeah, I totally agree. The dude's been MIA for way too long.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see him back. Of course, you know, A Quiet Place. I mean, literally, it was days away from arriving in the theater when it got pulled. So,
Yep.
I mean,
Yep.
we were so close to getting that one, and then for it to be so abruptly taken away, I'm really hoping it hangs on to that September release date, because I really want this movie to be a success for a full franchise for the Krasinskis. The Krasinski Blunt. The Krasinski Blunts, is that how you're supposed to say that?
Would you can you call them a crunt maybe?
I wouldn't in public.
it just doesn't work. I mean, you know.
But as far as the Kingsman goes, Kingsman, whenever that first came out several years ago, you know, we would have known that this franchise would have blossomed the way it did. Number 2 was pretty successful, not as successful as the first one, I don't think. But the fact that now we're taking it back to a prequel, and then hopefully we're going to get to see Taron Egerton return as Iggy very, very soon, hopefully in a third film in the Kingsman side of things. So I'm very hopeful for this franchise to continue to grow and expand. And I'm really hoping this one keeps where it's at, because September, like you said, there's not a lot going to be going on. So to have those 2 main tent poles kind of hanging up September, if we lose those, September, it's going to be really boring.
Well, you know, again, I mean, if I'm just going to say this, if Blazinski dies in this movie, I'm going to riot. They can't.
Oh, look at that. How perfect timing.
Keith Moncrief for the win. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Keith Moncrief for the win. I love that. Yes. But Larry, AJ, they can't kill Emily Blunt in this movie. If they do that, no. I mean, that just means that Cillian's going to have to be fodder. He's going to have to bite it in like the first half hour.
So they can. I don't know if they will, but like they can. We know that. But no, Kingsman is like, I'm more excited about Kingsman because I love that series. I'm a huge Colin Firth fan, and like when I know, but I'm a huge Colin Firth fan. So with the 2 others, I love the whole idea of like knowing where it came from and like the prequel of that. But yeah, Colin Firth is one of my celebrity. He's on my list.
On the list.
Larry, did you know this? That's kind of wacky. That's like a
Josh's too. I was going to make the joke mine too, but it seemed funnier to make it on Josh's list. So forgive me, my friend.
Well, okay, I'm not gonna go with Colin Firth, but I could crush on some Mark Strong, man. Yeah.
See.
So Keith asked what we think about the Kingsman franchise coming to an end, because that's what the thing is. There you go.
You know, it makes me sad because honestly, they kept improving from 1 all the way to where they're at right now. Golden Circle was absolutely awesome. I mean, it was so over the top,
right?
And I appreciated it from the church scene that obviously turned into a political ploy, to just the villain in the movie, the use of the meat grinder. I mean, where else are you going to get that? I mean, it was beautiful. It was beautiful from everything. It gave me the villain that I wanted. It gave me the story closure that I wanted. I love the fact that we got some expanded world building, and Pedro Pascal. Oh my God. I mean, that guy, you talk about a nice career resurgence, getting him on the map. That film was a beautiful springboard for him because look at where he's at now, Wonder Woman 84.
Right.
And also looking on top of that, we've got him in The Mandalorian. So, I mean, I think that movie was a gift that keeps on giving because, I mean, Taron Egerton, I mean, he's done some great work. He goes from that to Rocket Man. Great biopic there for Elton John.
We'll skip over Robin Hood. Let's not talk about
Please
it.
do. Yeah. but Keith made a point there, guys. I think he was saying the next one really is going to end things, which I don't know. I mean, will it end it or will it expand the universe? Yeah, are there more stories to tell?
I mean,
and how far could it go?
Honestly, every 10 years or so, a franchise, somebody's going to be looking to do a spin-off of some kind. So, I mean, even if it ends, I mean, Star Wars ended. Unfortunately, it came back.
It's a bad parallel, people. Are you feeling sick right now?
So, I mean, there's always room for expansion down the line. I mean, we could see, Taron Egerton in 20 years coming back and playing the Colin Firth character. So, I mean, there's definitely room for things down the line. So,
ended.
Keith, you should have gone with finish him.
Hey, Keith, baby. I mean, there's more stories for this film franchise to tell. I mean, what if we get ourselves the seniors men? I mean, you take a bunch of retired hitmen, you bring them out of the seniors home, and then you turn them loose. The fight scenes take the entirety of the movie because everybody's moving so slow. I'm sold puppy in the theater. I'm buying a ticket.
Didn't we already have that? Red.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Red, Bruce Willis, Morgan Freeman, John Malkovich. Yeah,
we saw the movie. What was it that had Michael Caine? Was it Morgan Freeman and who else? What was that?
Las Vegas.
No, not that one.
What are you talking about?
Okay, you guys remember this is trivia for the room. Keith, if you know, speak up. CJ, speak up. Kyle, they were bank robbers, right? You remember?
Oh, going the distance.
Going the distance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Take that and add a bunch of senior karate, and you have got a movie. I'm telling you. Hey, what is it? Danny Trejo, remember? What was it? Was it Badass or Badasses or something? You remember? You know what I'm talking about, right? It's a seniors home. Danny Trejo started it, and then was it Danny Glover that joined him or somebody else? And it was about retirement home butt kicking. I mean, what more do you need? I mean,
you've been watching some weird movies, man.
Pop your ass, prop the walker in front of the couch, and have a great time.
But end of it, it doesn't mean it's the end of it. Just take Bill and Ted, or take Jay and Silent Bob. Like, there are movies that ended, and people were like, "This is the end of it," and then it's like 15, 20 years later, nostalgia hits in, and they're like, "Let's do it again." So the movies that we watched when we were in our 20s and we loved, I know, but the movies that we watched in our 20s that we love, that then out did these movies because they know that we have nostalgia. My son loved The Kingsman. He is totally he's in his 20s. All his friends loved it, and so I don't see why. I don't put it past probability that in 15, 20 years they're going to do one, and Taron's going to be the Colin Firth, the mentor type person. It's not just because they say it's over doesn't mean it's over.
Well, that's true. Take the Karate Kid, for instance, and kind of how it ended as a series, and then look at Cobra Kai, which is just amazing. If you guys haven't seen that, the 2 seasons of Cobra Kai are fantastic.
Matter of fact, you guys, if you haven't seen it yet, on our Facebook page, check it out because Netflix is bringing the first 2 seasons home. August the 28th. We still don't have a release date on season 3, but I need it because you know what happens in season 3. I can call it right now. We are getting Sensei Kreese. We're getting Mike Barnes, and I guarantee you, I bet you Terry Silver shows up.
Yep.
The president of Dynatox Industries, Mr. Terry Silver.
Oh my goodness. We haven't touched base on the one movie that I was really, really, really excited about, and I know it's last I heard it was November, so you guys can correct me because I've been working, so I haven't actually checked the news lately on it, and that would be Godzilla versus King Kong.
It's been moved to
May?
Moved to May. It's been moved to May.
Yeah, I didn't have that on my list for a reason because I thought it had been moved, and I mean honestly, AJ, you're right. I mean, I'd say I'm right there with you. And my God, the promo art looks so freaking awesome.
Yes.
Tim had that drop on our Facebook page, and I'm like, okay, I'm sold. I don't need to know anymore.
Yeah.
Right.
Amazing.
love the MonsterVerse.
Mm-hmm.
I love old Godzilla movies. I love the old King Kong, the original King Kong. I love all of that. But when this new series came out, this new rebirth of the MonsterVerse, oh my gosh! Like Kong on Skull Island was the first one, but then Godzilla and the monsters and Mothra's my absolute favorite. And so when Mothra showed up in the last one, I was just like, yay. And I was so excited about this. And then I knew they pushed it back. And then I figured they were going to push it back again, but I hadn't heard yet.
I keep hoping the little fairies to go around with Mothra show up. That would be really cool. Those are awesome. So, yeah, no, I'm with you, AJ. I really was excited about that when that was on the schedule, and it's supposed to be May of next year. Or I'm sorry, June. Yeah, May of next year, which has a pretty big lineup of things that have been pushed back to May of next year. But yeah, I'm super stoked for that also.
May of next year, AJ lives at the movie theater.
Yeah, no,
pretty sure we're going to be camping.
We're not going to be leaving the theater very much next year at this point with everything that's been shuffled and moved into 2021. I do want to bring up with you guys like the month of October. The month of October is probably one of the more stacked months as it remains right now for 2020. On my list for that one, obviously Wonder Woman 84 is there at the top, but there are some films in there on my list that are not talked about that much. Death on the Nile being one of them, because Murder on the Orient Express, loved it. I thought Kenneth Branagh did a fantastic job. He has assembled one heck of a cast for his follow-up, staying with these novels from Agatha Christie. Death on the Nile drops in October. I will be there for that one. And then, of course, Jordan Peele stepping in as producer. I cannot wait to see what he does with his spin on The Candyman. Really looking forward to that one in October, because granted, AJ, I'm right there with you. I'm really sad that that Halloween Kills got moved out. Then that's going to affect Halloween Ends, which will follow in 2022. That movie is going to get pushed back as well because of the release change. And then also Anderson. Yes, I'm talking about Paul Thomas Anderson. He has got one of his, I mean, really every movie that he's done has been a visual masterpiece and really a visceral tour de force, with some great turn-in performances from Daniel Day-Lewis, who we all know is retired right now. But if you haven't seen the trailer, recommend it. Watch it. Get excited, because The French Dispatch comes out also in the month of October, which features the amazing talents of the legendary Bill Murray and then an ensemble cast alongside him. So those four, that makes my list for the month of October.
Yeah, everything you just said is definitely on my list, except for Candyman. I don't care to watch that, you know.
He and I are going to go into the bathroom. We're going to say the name 5 times, and then we're going to go watch the movie. No, wait a minute. I'm sorry. That's after the movie. I'm going to bring him home, and that's what we're going to do.
Nope, not at all.
You say his name 5 times, and then he doesn't kill you. You just end up pooping your pants.
Josh, if Tim passes on any horror movies, you know you have somebody who will go see a horror movie with you.
I am calling you, dear. And then we're both going to go, and we're going to watch Tim be freaked out of his mind. I mean, here's the deal. I mean, he needs to explain, because he can handle the slasher movies just fine. It's just that other type of movie that you really don't like. You need to tell everybody about it.
Demonic possession movies, man. They just really mess me up, because that stuff's real. Okay, that stuff's going on. There's demons in people's houses and possessing people. That stuff's in history.
I don't know if you guys have a Raggedy Andy doll.
Oh gosh. So, I mean, just I don't do well in those scenarios. You know, if you want to slasher films, okay, I get it. But, yeah, I couldn't sleep in your house, AJ. I mean, your dolls coming to life at night. Damn, play with us. I couldn't do it. It wouldn't be healthy for me.
Hi.
Play.
This is my boyfriend's collection. My collection's down the hallway. You know the giant It poster from the first movie, Chapter 1? It's in my hallway, along with like all my dolls that I've cut up in art, and they hang there. And yeah, but this is just this collection. Like,
that's impressive.
Yeah, that gives my collection a run for for its money. That's for sure.
Larry, I hope you have a show us your stuff segment on your show. If not, you need to do
Well,
that.
we should. We should definitely have that.
Guys know, like, Spoo every day on Scallywag Productions, because he's one of our partners as well. He actually posts one of his collectibles. He does a collectible of the day, and so he keeps taking pictures of them. It takes hours and hours upon time, but I think he has about a year and a half worth of photos.
Holy cow!
Now, is he taking so long to take pictures of them because they keep moving on their own? Is that what's going on?
Two that move on its own. This one right here. Every time we come home, he's in a different position, and then my Winifred Sanderson sister is in a different position every time we come home.
I don't care how many times you ask us to come over for a dinner party. I'm going to say no now.
My living room is totally different. This is Spoo's area.
Yeah, see, Larry, here's the deal. Like, you know, AJ's having a dinner party, right? She's like, why don't you guys come over for some Cards for Humanity and some meatloaf? And oh, by the way, by the time the night's over with, be prepared to float.
And we have my comic book wall. We have collections. See here. We have, I don't know if I can.
Oh no.
She's back. All right. Yep.
I don't know if you can see that.
Hey, how long has it been since you've dusted up there?
Hey.
I had to ask, you know.
That is, I think he now has every figure made from the Jay and Silent Bob universe.
Wow.
Whoa. Okay, that's cool.
This is like any present I ever get him. It's one of these, and this collection, when we got together 18 months ago, he did not have any of this. So this is a year and a half.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good girlfriend.
You're a model girlfriend for everybody that watches this show. If you need to, like, just go ahead and give advice to nerdy girlfriends out there all across America, go ahead and do that show as well.
Yeah, please. Yeah, that'd be great.
Here's the best advice I can give if you're dating a nerd, whether you're a girl or a guy, and I don't care what your partner is, girl or guy, is just let them embrace what they love and just go with it, because if they love it and it brings them happiness, they're going to be a better partner for you. So
very true.
Man, that is well said.
Thank you, Dr. AJ.
I am looking forward to buying the book.
I think we need to give her a series all of her own to be able to give this kind of advice. This is great.
You're onto something, Larry. You're onto something.
So we've got a few more comments, guys. Let's throw those out. Then we'll hit November and December for this year real quick, and then we'll need to wrap it up. We're already past an hour, which doesn't seem possible because I'm having so much fun. So, all right. So Keith, yes, just days away from Umbrella Academy 2. Of course, I am watching.
I am too.
I will be there.
I think I'm the odd man out in the room. Like, I mean, I've posted news about it. I posted the trailers, and there is a disconnect with me, guys. I don't know what it is, but maybe I've got to force myself to sit down with him and watch it, but I'm not feeling it, and I don't know what the problem is.
Well, you just have to remember with X-Men that Professor X was a dick, and if you get that, then this is completely about that.
They did feature that, right? Which X-Men was that? It was The Last Stand. It was The Last Stand that made Xavier a dick in that one. So I guess maybe I am ready, but I don't know. I watched a little bit of the first season, but it just did not resonate with me, and I don't know if it's maybe
you have to get a couple episodes in.
Yeah.
I went with you, Josh. I watched 2 episodes, and I was like, I'm not really into this. Dakota was really into it, and so he was like, Mom, watch it with me. And then, I'm like, okay, what else am I going to do? But once I watched, like, I think I was the third or fourth episode, I started actually getting into it.
Yeah.
Let me. Can I ask you guys? I want you guys to maybe analyze my brain here for a second. And Keith, you chime in too, buddy. Maybe I've got a problem. Maybe I'm one of those like movies and series watchers that has just been so saturated by Marvel and DC properties and the X-Men. I'm worried that maybe I've become oversaturated to that, and my brain is just locked into to that type of mode. And that anything that comes along that is new or jarring, maybe my brain is just locked off to it.
I think that's possible. I would say that I feel like that's the case with a lot of things. When people watch so many movies, and I know you guys watch a lot of movies, that when things have like similar tones, you kind of go, okay, well, I've kind of seen this. You don't like connect with the characters. And when a series like The Umbrella Academy, the first 2 episodes, I really didn't get into at all. I didn't connect with any of the characters at all. I was in episode 4 before I was like, found myself actually like connecting.
Right.
And I know that a lot of the times, if I don't connect with a character in the first couple episodes, like at least one character, I just really don't watch the show unless somebody I live with, or if if Larry's like, no, you have to watch this, I will try to watch it just because, he knows my taste and he knows what I like and stuff. But yeah, no, Josh, I think that happens to a lot of people. We're so inundated with like this, the Marvel, the DC, like the superheroes. And when something comes along that line, but it's not quite exactly what we're used to, or we don't have any expectations of it, and we don't have any preconceived notions of the characters because we don't know anything about them, I feel like sometimes it's a harder thing to connect with.
Yeah, and honestly, I'll say this, and maybe I don't suffer from it. Maybe I just legitimately just did not get into the Umbrella Academy. And I say this just to say that I could sit down and I have not seen any of the Arrowverse on the CW, like none of it. But when the crossover came on, I sat down and watched all of that and loved that sucker from start to finish. I didn't know any of the characters, wasn't familiar with any of the actors and actresses, but I started there and I had a great time with it. So I don't know.
Well, the Umbrella Academy, especially at the beginning, is not a lot of fun. It's kind of telling you some dark side, some gruesomeness, just kind of like, boy, this is kind of a drag, but then it develops. And I think that's part of the challenge with it, is that it took a little while to really develop those characters that people started connecting with, because it had to show you kind of the dark side of the character, then to say, but they're still not a bad person, so let's go here. So, but I could psychoanalyze you if you like, Josh. I do have a master's in counseling, so pull up the couch, and we'll start talking about your mom and talking about moms. We do have a comment here.
Wait a minute. Okay, how does mom love scary movies and you fell off the deep end of the pool? What is going on with that?
All right, here's the thing. I don't think I've ever watched a scary movie with my mother. Okay, I think I need a refresher course to my mother and my parents that I grew up in a very, I want to call it a conservative film household. I didn't watch my first rated R film until my senior year of high school, and that wasn't even an actual rated R film. It was The Passion of the Christ. Okay, so that was my very first rated R film. Yeah, so honestly, I didn't actually get introduced to the genre of horror and stuff until after college. So apparently, my parents have been hiding some things from me for most of my life.
The hidden videotapes in the closet, they're horror movies.
I guess.
Mom, I'm just going to tell you this right now. I love you even more right now at this moment than I possibly could. I mean,
she can come up here and watch horror movies with you. If anybody, I'm going to be watching Barney and Friends in my room.
Can we plan a trip home to Branson for Christmas? That way you, me, and Dad, Tim, Christopher, we can all sit down and watch The Exorcist together.
I love The Exorcist. Oh,
no, thank you.
It's a head spinner.
House.
Not enough alcohol in the world to make me watch that.
All I can say, Tim, is my first rated R movie was Fast Times at Ridgemont High, watching on HBO with my parents in the room when I was 14.
Hey, let me just say something. Were you able to control yourself when you saw Phoebe Cates on camera?
I was definitely not looking at my mom while I was watching Phoebe Cates.
At that point, you're pulling in Austin Powers, Margaret Thatcher naked on a cold day. Margaret Thatcher naked on a cold day.
Very like Christian household stuff, but my mom was a horror fan. Like her favorite author is Stephen King. We grew up with like all his books, and so the first horror movie that I ever remember seeing that scared me, and it's the one movie that it's the scariest movie I've ever seen, and people laugh at me because they're like, it's really not that scary, but it's Cujo. But
yeah.
Oh God, yeah, no, that
in the middle of nowhere. Like my house was in the middle of nowhere,
right?
And our driveway was this really long road, and so you couldn't see our house from the road. And so we had like wild dogs, and we had like bears, and we had wild animals out and around. And we always had a lot of dogs. And my biggest fear after watching that movie was, what if one of my dogs gets rabies and no one finds us for driving a car?
That's a legitimate fear to have. I mean, it took them releasing Beethoven for us to all feel good about ourselves again.
No, I
love that movie.
Yeah, you love St. Bernards until they get rabies and they try to attack you in your car, you know.
Dehydrate and die.
No. Yeah, I mean, there was see, for me, my upbringing was a little bit different because my mom really did not shy away from letting me watch pretty much whatever movie was out there. So, I mean, I grew up and I was right there at the beginning, seeing all the Nightmare on Elm Streets, Friday the 13th.
Yeah, I watched all
the movies growing up for me, as far as the horror genre goes, guys, that really like messed my stuff up something fierce was the original Poltergeist, because I remember that damn clown in the chair dragging the kid under the bed. That messed me up really, really bad. And then what else was it that I didn't like? I'm drawing a blank, but I'll leave you with that. I mean, obviously, Phantasm was one that I grew up with. Hellraiser. If Ira was watching, I mean, he'd be really impressed with my roster of films growing up as a kid. But yeah, there are just those movies. I mean, it's Psycho. I mean, I remember the shower scene. I mean, really, I'm like, okay, that messed me up. I'm like, it's like, please don't make me take a bath. I don't care that it's not a shower. Don't make me go in there, Mommy.
Oh my God.
And so, I mean, you talk about a back catalog of stuff in the horror genre that I want him to sit down and watch. I mean, there's a lot of stuff, but.
Well, Josh won't let me sleep at the foot of his bed anymore, so we're not watching any horror movies anymore.
Ripley wanted her bed back. You know, that's.
All I can say is go with more of the thriller types, like Psycho. We were talking last week that one of my favorite movies that people totally have forgotten is Rebecca, which is also a wonderful movie. The very first one, first American movie that what was his name from Psycho did?
Anthony Perkins?
No, the director.
Alfred Hitchcock.
Hitchcock, thank you. My gosh, my brain just kind of went. But his first American movie was Rebecca. It won 2 Oscars. It was Best Movie in 1940, and nobody remembers this movie.
I love the book.
I mean, you remember.
It's great.
You go back and you think about the names of the great Tippi Hedren, and you remember the birds. I mean, that made me scared of the outdoors.
Yeah.
That when I was a kid, and I'm like, God, I mean, no, I mean, I don't. Avian bird flu. No, you don't have to worry about that. It's carnivorous birds. I mean,
right.
Yeah, I mean, and you haven't even seen that. And honestly, like I remember watching Christine for the first time.
Yeah, Christine's great.
Oh, and that's on IFC and Sundance all the time. I'll sit down and watch that over and over again whenever it's on TV. But I mean, my first car was a '64 Dodge Dart. not Christine, but you're sitting there thinking, I've got to unwrap this car like grandma unwrapping a couch, And then you worry if the car's going to kill you because you pushed the wrong button for the transmission.
Oh my goodness, that's good. Tim, we've got to get you watching some of these movies.
Well, do what you can, Tim. It's okay to have your limits. We're going to throw up some more comments here real quick and keep going here. Tested yesterday. Nerd Home Living with AJ. That sounds like a series. We could definitely do that. It could be on the GeekyKOOL channel. I like it.
It happened. I agree. 100%.
Okay, that's a good point. Keith might have actually just sold me. So,
well, it's done better. And you don't have those expectations because you don't love those characters like you do with X-Men. They may be similar to X-Men characters, but you don't have that passion of like, why did you screw this up with this character? Why is Juggernaut look like he's 5 foot tall and
Oh, why?
Because I played the role of Juggernaut, and that's why.
No, and Keith makes a good point there as well. Kingsman, Kick-Ass, Wanted, The Road to Perdition, Red. I like all of those. So I guess I am normal. My brain is not messed up. You don't need to shrink me, Larry.
Okay, but we can still set up sessions.
I'm all for it.
3 times a week and twice on Saturday.
I got a lot to tell you. Maybe you can
bring your wallet.
Yeah.
The boys.
This series.
See, that is subjected superhero story done right. I mean, I've seen some of that already. I've got a lot to watch, but what I did see, I guess it's just my warped mind that accepts it, because that is, if I was to put on a cape, that would be exactly the type of superhero I would be. I would be the Loki. I would be the Loki of superheroes.
Oh, don't say that. He's my favorite.
Oh, wow.
Well, you cut me and I'm bleeding gravy, AJ. Thanks very much. Appreciate that.
But no, I love the.
Got tricky leg?
We just binged it during quarantine and shutdown and stuff. We binged the whole season, and then I know season 2's coming out. I posted that on GeekyKOOL, but I loved it. It was very much what I think if superheroes existed nowadays, what this world would look like, and like that sort of thing. Where it's just the commentary of it is just beautiful, and it's not exactly what you expect, and I really, really enjoyed it. I don't know if anybody else did.
I liked it also. I would hope that things wouldn't be quite that level. Knowing how things go with politics on both sides of the fence, how they can take and twist people. I'm not surprised by that, but yeah.
Yeah, I've got no experience. I feel like the odd man out on this one because I've not seen a single bit. I've not even watched a clip from the series. Don't get me wrong. I definitely want to. It's on my list, but it's just I've not had the time to hit that up yet. So
it's kind of like Umbrella Academy turned up and much more. Definitely not kid friendly at all. It's not the superhero show for your kids.
So
I'm gonna pull off the Steve Carroll office meme here. Thank you. Maybe that's the disconnect. Maybe I needed the Umbrella Academy to be amped up, more warped, and not kid friendly. That's what I've been missing.
Well, and it's still not kid friendly, especially as you get watching it. But it's not amped up that level, so it's a different level.
All right, when I get ready to watch The Boys, you got to go to bed early.
Yeah, apparently.
This picture, Tim, is for you because Shrew is all about horror, and if you do want to get caught up, he is home all the time, and he would watch horror movies anytime. And Josh, if Tim won't watch a horror movie with you, like you can invite me or my boyfriend or both of us, and we will watch horror movies with you.
The most intense horror films I've got any interest in watching is Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? Okay.
But have you watched the new Scoob?
No.
It's on HBO Max.
I've got a few choice things about that animation style and what they did and the ill treatment of Matthew Lillard. So,
I'm excited about
help you out of your skin, Grandma.
Oh my gosh. We are like 20 minutes over.
I know, we're not even close yet. We have a ton of comments still, which is great. We love the comments, guys. Don't think that's a negative. So, Mama Church.
Well, apparently, you and my mom have a date, so.
Yes, we are going to have an Exorcist Christmas. This is going to be the best ever.
We expect that to be filmed.
Fritz the Cat at a drive-in. That would have been an experience. I have seen that film, believe it or not. That was not what I thought it was going to be. That was not
That
is not what you would think it is. Yeah, I agree.
I was in high school going over to my friend Tom's house, and we spent he actually like raised me up in my high school years the right way, because I got introduced to Bruce the Chin Campbell on the Evil Dead series.
Yeah,
and that
yeah.
was like the most amazing thing ever. And then there was all kinds of like weird, obscure, like anime and manga and all that fun stuff that we spent high school day watching about. But Universal Hammer horror kid growing up.
Universal monster movies, I guess.
Yep.
Dude, okay, Larry, AJ, I just remembered, and Keith, I just remembered the other film that actually warped my stuff out on the horror genre when I was a kid. You know what it was?
What?
It was the original Pet Sematary, and the fact that he was hiding underneath the bed, and he cut into oh god no, that seriously, I had nightmares thinking that okay, there's this little kid underneath my bed, and he's waiting for me to come in there and to climb into bed, and then all of a sudden I'm going to get my Achilles tendon cut out with a scalpel.
I watched that after I had my leg surgery 2 summers ago. That was a horrible. I was on pain pills and watching that. That was not good.
Oh gosh.
I'm sitting pretty much unable to walk or move or do anything after that surgery, and Josh just puts it on and leaves me at my own. So,
I did do that. I am so evil. I'm like, you can't go. You are stuck watching this stuff. Oh,
look away! Look away!
Don't watch the screen. Cover your eyes. There's a house. Now you show up, Ripley.
Private Omen. Have you watched The Omen, Tim?
Oh.
No, I prefer cornflakes.
The
I love you, Timmy.
Actually, probably my favorite horror movie was Alien, the first Alien movie, because that truly is a horror movie.
Yeah, no, that is a really, really good pick. I'm loving that because, like, I mean, you know, like the corridors, they're so like cramped. Sigourney is acting like through the roof. It's amazing. And then of course that scene, honestly, like one of the creepier scenes in that one is when Dallas goes down to try and find it.
Yeah.
And they're all shouting at him. He's like, it's coming right at you. And he's like, I don't see anything. And then the camera pans and you get that shot of all shots. And it's like, nope. I don't care. You're not making me go down to the sewer. I'm never going to become an astronaut again, ever in my life. No, it's not happening.
I agree with Keith on that, on The Boys. I love that series. So I agree. It's DC, but it's all MCU.
So that gets me really excited to actually want to dive into that even more because I like that analogy. That's really well said. So
how many episodes of The Pacific do you have left before you get to that?
Oh, I just finished it. So I'm done.
He's on a roll. He's on a tear, guys. I'm telling you.
Box sets galore.
Now, coming from his mom, I don't know if I believe that. I've actually videotaped him screaming, and I think everybody on this show has seen the video of him watching Annabelle. So you all know that he's got some lungs. I don't know. I mean,
Tim, when you screamed with Annabelle, it was the funniest video I'd seen in such a long time. I laughed so hard, but I love you so much. I just wanted to give you a hug afterwards because I felt bad. Like I was like, oh my gosh, this is hilarious. And I was like,
I'm glad my pain can bring joy to millions.
Here's the I know we've got White River Design Company, so I do want to say this, AJ. If you know of anybody out there, Larry, same thing. If anybody knows out there somebody that can make a shirt, I want it to say this on the following. On the front, I want it to say, I watch horror movies. And then on the back, I want it to say, like a girl. And I want to give that to Tim for Christmas.
Somebody who could make a t-shirt, and she can even put Tim's likeness on the T-shirt.
That's perfect. We will talk about this. I want this to happen.
Well,
That was an insult. I watch movies all the time, so watching a horror movie like a girl is not an insult.
I love you, AJ.
Thanks. I'm glad somebody does. Who's behind GeekyKOOL?
I don't know. I'm not sure who's showing up as GeekyKOOL. Let us know who you are, GeekyKOOL. It's one of our writers, but which one?
They can go on to our
That could be anything.
Yeah.
I'm intrigued. I want to know. I want to know about this.
I do too. Well, guys, quickly, what do we got coming up in we did October. What's in November that's on the slate still?
This month, out of all of them, worries me the most that it's going to be completely wiped out at this point right now. We're still holding on to Black Widow.
Yep.
We're still holding on to No Time to Die.
Yep. And
we're still holding on to Disney and Pixar's Soul. Those are the three that are on my list for the month of November. But I'm really, really worried about those three. If there's any movies on that list that have a chance to get bumped again, it would be those three, and then I think you could add on Wonder Woman 1984.
Yeah.
I hope they stay there because I am ready to see Daniel Craig's final turn as James Bond.
Yeah.
I think the director is going to be kind of that wonder because everybody was really worried about Skyfall, and then that was knocked out of the park. I really want this to be a fitting end for Daniel Craig, and personally, if they're gonna set the bar and kind of really go out in left field with No Time to Die, I'd like to see Daniel Craig die in this one. Honestly,
yeah.
I never thought I would say this about a movie, but if they really want to define it and go out in a major way, the story's got to be spot on. It's got to have beautiful set pieces because obviously the cinematography team has shifted since Skyfall, which was kind of a loss because you had that legendary eye of Roger Deakins, and that movie still visually is right up there for me with like Lawrence of Arabia and just the eye of Denis Villeneuve, who's behind Dune coming up.
Yeah.
But honestly, I think it's risky. It's bold. I'd like to see them kill off Daniel Craig.
No, I agree with you. I think that it would be good. I do fear that month is going to be. I feel like that's the month we're going to lose a lot. That they're going to get pushed back more.
Yeah.
I just feel like that month is just like. They've already been pushed back so far, and yeah.
I think it depends, where we're at, what's going to be happening, because this is your last push before the big Christmas season. You get these movies in the theater at this point, and then you can have those blockbusters that stick around all the way through November and December. And so if you see these movies gone, I think we've forfeited this year and the beginning of next year also. I think that's a white flag.
As far as Daniel Craig dying in No Time to Die, I would have been okay with him dying, back in Casino Royale. He's by far my least favorite James Bond. So other than Skyfall, his entire run as James Bond, in my opinion, has been so frankly, sure, let's kill him off. Let's make way for, somebody better and cooler and more in depth for the role.
I think somebody's stuck in Pierce Brosnan's bed.
Yep. Always forever. Got him tattooed on my rear. Of course, Black Widow, though.
I can't go there.
Black Widow is the one I've probably been most excited about, and probably the one that I was the most disappointed with. The fact that it got pushed out of May. After seeing the almost unfitting end but respectable end to Black Widow in Avengers Endgame. I was ready for them to give us an extra piece from her. Okay. And since they did the movies in the order that they're doing them and didn't give us this movie back, at the after Civil War, like the placement is supposed to be, frankly, I can't wait to see this movie. Hopefully give Scarlett Johansson the fitting end that she deserves in the MCU. I know there was a lot of love in Endgame for Robert Downey Jr., but we also lost Scarlett Johansson from the franchise at the same time. So it's really plagued my mind quite a bit since then that, man, I really hope this film really sends her off and pays her and the character the respect that it deserves, because she's just been such a phenomenal part of the entire MCU. And, you know, ever since her introduction in Iron Man 2, it's just frankly something that I would really hate that it would, because it's going to be a one and done for the most part. We're pretty certain on that. And for it just to, you know, just be bland and boring, and, you know, that would be heartbreaking for me.
Yeah.
So, I mean, MCU, the Marvel Studios, they've done such a great job. Really, no film has been absolutely awful. I mean, even Thor: The Dark World, it's got its bumps and bruises, but but on the other end of it, it was still okay.
Right.
So I've got high hopes for Black Widow. So I'm very much looking forward to that and praying that it's not going to get pushed.
You know, in Black Widow, really, I think is going to set up a lot, because we had reported on the news that Florence Pugh, the director, has indicated as much, that this film will be a kind of a passing of the torch from Natasha Romanoff to Florence Pugh's character. And so I think that's what we're going to see going into Phase 4 and into Phase 5, and probably see some solo movies with Florence Pugh. I would venture to say probably in Phase 5 before it hits anywhere else. And I think we're probably going to see one of the biggest MCU cinematic swerves in history with the reveal of who's behind the mask as Taskmaster. I think that is going to blow people's minds in that movie. I think that's going to be one of the biggest swerves of all the movies that have come so far. And I think we're going to see it in Black Widow.
I'm super excited about it. I agree with everything you guys said. I was really sad when it got pushed back. And then so far back, like, you know, not just, you know, maybe in August or maybe, no, November. So, you know, I do think that during Endgame, Robert's leaving was just like such a big deal. And then Scarlett, we lost her too, although they did already know that they were going to have this movie coming out. So I think that's probably why they didn't, but still, it's just like, to the fans who'd watched her throughout all these movies, it was kind of like but he got like a whole ceremony,
right?
And she Hulk thrown a chair, like that's like, you know, that was what it was, and it was like that wasn't good enough for her. So I agree.
So I will say ScarJo's on my list, Ace. So she's right there. So
list.
Good choice. Good choice.
Yeah. So I've been waiting for her movie since Iron Man 2. They've been talking about the rumors that they were going to spin her off. Why did we wait so long to do this? MCU, that's the only thing that I've really seen that they've just totally messed up on, was they had a chance to have ScarJo star in her own movie. We know how well that would have done, and could have been the first female superhero out there. Instead, we wait for DC to actually come around and do something, put out a wonderful Wonder Woman movie, looking for the next one. You have Captain Marvel, which I like, but a lot of people didn't. I know there's Ace cringing over there. But ScarJo has just been sitting here waiting for a Black Widow movie. Her character is amazing. You could do some really cool stuff. I've read her comics for years. I've read the Black Widow comics for many years. Love the way you can do things with the character. I'm going, what has taken so long? And then to have it push back and push back and push back. So I'm very excited to see it. I'm hopeful. It looks like a lot of fun. It looks like it will be a good tribute to her character. And I'm just hopeful that we'll get to see a lot of really cool stuff in this movie. So that's exciting. And with James Bond coming out, I'm very excited about that also. That's very close to the top of my list also, No Time to Die. And I've liked the other ones, but the trailer for this one just grabbed me. I just went, oh, I'm more excited about this one than I have any of the rest of them, probably since Skyfall. I went, oh, that really, I need to see that. You know, instead of killing him, you could marry him off. We've done that once before.
Well, at this point right now, it could be a very risky move, but there are reports out there, and I mean, nothing that has been 100% concrete substantiated. That way, we have not followed it very much through our channels, but there is the hot rumor that James Bond could have a daughter. Yeah, this film, and so that right there, until it is proven up on the screen, That could be a very interesting twist. She could be one of the biggest villains that Bond has ever come across in his life. He could have a jaded family member that just wants him to be deader than a doornail, or this could be a Mantle thing where Bond lives or dies, but then it becomes. I mean, it could be usher in a female Bond. I mean, we've got that already set up in the movie. There's another 00 that's in this that is a Bond, if you will.
Right.
So that's a first for the series, and so. Will Barbara Broccoli and MGM and the estate go that direction and go with a female Bond, or will we finally fulfill that national narrative? And I believe people really want to see. I'm a fan. I would love to see it. Finally, have our first African American male in the lead as James Bond. And could that be Idris Elba, or could it be a young Chadwick Boseman? Possibly. I mean, there's a lot of options there where they could go. So. A lot of options. I mean, it's an exciting time for the Bond franchise, and I think this will usher in a new arc, no matter how they
right.
Out, so.
Well, and so real quick, couple of or more than a couple. So, here's also from Keith, and we'll talk about December, but yeah, I'm with you. And here's going to make it difficult killing Bond for Henry Cavill to take over. I agree. Other than there is. Always been the talk that James Bond is more than one person, that name gets passed down along with the 007. The name gets passed down through the years is what some of the speculation's been. So you could actually kill Bond, and then you could give that name to the next person if it's Henry Cavill or whoever it is.
Oh, like Skywalker.
Right, exactly. Don't get AJ started on that.
Yeah. Good points around Black Widow. And and honestly, Henry Cavill, would be an inspired choice. I think if Henry Cavill takes the role from Daniel Craig, I would like to see them kind of continue on that physical arc for Bond, because honestly, I liked Daniel Craig's more aggressive, broken portrayal of James Bond. He was more of a fighter. He was more in your face. I like that. And personally, I would like to see Henry Cavill kind of blend the physical side of Bond with the suave side of Bond.
Right.
Kind of bring back what Pierce Brosnan had and marry the two together. And I think that could be done really well.
Well, each person that plays Bond plays a different portion of what the character is. Every actor's played him just a little bit differently, and I've enjoyed them all. So they all for different reasons. So even people roll their eyes about Roger Moore, but I love Roger Moore's portrayal, especially the early ones. And yes, they were silly and funny, but he was great. I loved them, especially as a kid watching those. So, and that's where I got introduced, was watching Sean Connery and Roger Moore. And
honestly, that's probably part of the reason why I loved Roger Moore so much, opposite Jean-Claude Van Damme in The Quest.
Yeah.
Because he just had that debonair approach about him, that otherworldly guy who had been all over the world, a suave pirate, a swindler. I mean, it was pretty much like his Bond role was carried over to The Quest, and that's why I liked him in that movie so much. But
I thought it's because you wanted to cosplay him as a pirate.
I could. There will be no female Bond. Idris Elba is too old. He's aged himself out of the role. I can kind of see that a little bit, but I will look at it as I think Hobbs and Shaw prove that Idris Elba has still got a lot in the tank there, Keith.
And that's more true. Yeah. More true of from the films, from the books, novels.
That
I think that's why Daniel Craig did so well in the role, honestly, in my opinion.
Yeah, honestly, I would have loved to have seen Idris Elba in the role, but Chadwick Boseman has been my top pick. If they're going to take it in that direction, I would love to see him in that role. He's got that suave, coolness about him as a person as well as an actor. So I really think that he would be able to pull that off quite nicely. And we know he's great at accents, so being able to do something James Bond like wouldn't be too difficult.
A wild card I would throw out there would also be Andre Benjamin. I think that would be an inspired choice, because he has not had a lot of film roles, but I really loved him in Four Brothers, and he's had some other film roles that he's been in. But Andre Benjamin could be a nice wild card addition to to the Bond character. I'm a fan. I mean, I go back and I love. I don't think you necessarily have to typecast like that. I don't think Bond has got to be British. Honestly, I mean, if they wanted to shake it up and make it feel fresh, I don't think James Bond has got to be British per se. But I think, Keith, I think you make a good point. Eon Productions, I mean, and Barbara Broccoli, they may be really stringent and strict on that, and they may, got to be British. That's it. That's
right.
Gonna be so.
No, I'm
yeah. Okay.
I'm with you there. We'll see what happens with Bond. So let's hit December real quick, and then because we're over an hour and a half in, which is great. This has been awesome, guys.
In December, I'm eager to see what Tim thinks about that month. Obviously, between it and October, really the most stacked months out of 2020. December could be another one of those scorched earth months where the films just get wiped out and they get shifted out. But we've got a lot to look forward to. We've got Ryan Reynolds' next movie in Free Guy, which looks absolutely I mean, it looks insane. It looks like it's Micro Machines and Deadpool mashed together in a blender.
Yeah.
So,
I like that description.
Dune comes out in December, and I'm right there with Keith. I do not want to see this movie get pushed out because I love Denis Villeneuve's eye. I mean, he did a wonderful job of Blade Runner 2049. I still pop that in on occasion and watch that because it is so amazing visually. I cannot wait to see what his cinematography is for this particular movie. I like the cast in this. I think it's going to be really, really awesome. Alongside that, I've been waiting for this sequel because I cannot wait to go back to Zamunda. I cannot wait to see what Prince Hakeem is up to. Honestly, to me, I hope it's a return to vintage Eddie Murphy. He doesn't need to overact with this. He needs to go back into the 80s and tap into that charm, use the prosthetics, use the makeup, and just give us old school Eddie Murphy. I don't want to see, I mean, I love the Nutty Professor, but I don't want to see that level of overacting for Eddie Murphy.
Right.
I want him to get back to when he was first getting started. He doesn't have to try to be a really good actor. So if we get that Eddie Murphy with the Coming to America sequel, I think it's going to be something special. They're getting the original cast, as many of them that are still alive and around. They're going to get his original wife. They're going to get his father back. James Earl Jones being in this movie be like the bedrock. It's going to be that foundation that brings the film together. I can't wait to see who his child is going to be and who's going to portray that role because I think that's going to be something special. And then I think I'm going to be wrong on this one, but you guys correct me if I am. You've got West Side Story coming out from Steven Spielberg, which I think that's going to be the big musical film of the year that everybody's been waiting on. I think that's going to have the magic that The Greatest Showman had, honestly, and probably on a whole other level. And then I wanted to say Top Gun Maverick, but I believe that has been pushed out to June 2021. I think I'm right on that. So
I think I read that it was pushed back to summer next
year.
Summer.
I think it's June or July 2021. If anybody knows, if you've seen it, just, but
IMDb still has it coming out in December, so they've not changed that yet. So so it's still sitting there according to them, but that's subject to change in a moment's notice.
Everything we talked about tonight is subject.
Yeah, it definitely is. As of right now, according to CNET, because they had an article today about, which is just kind of fitting. I'm like, oh, a new article about what to watch. It's still sitting in December. So,
wow. Okay. Well,
excellent.
I mean, I'm all ready to further the adventures of Maverick in December. I mean, let's go ahead and keep it there. Give us a great actioner in an unexpected time frame for the year, because normally that would be a summer movie without question. That movie is hey, man. Okay, there's your guy that you're going to be watching horror movies with. So be ready for that.
Hope you want to hold my hand.
The only movie that matters that has been pushed back, and I can't even think about it without a tear coming to my eye, is Halloween Kills, pushed all the way back to next October.
When I brought it up,
and Spiral, for that matter.
Yeah, no, I am right there with you. I loved the teaser, and then the worst thing they could do to us as fans was then put the release date in there. I'm like, that's cruel. That's cruel. There was nothing that they could have done. I mean, could you not have softened the blow a little bit? But jumping back to Top Gun real quick, and I think Tim's going to have something to say on this as well. I'm gonna love that movie for what it is. But the one thing that scares me is that they've been billing the fact that Val Kilmer is going to be in the movie, and if all we get is a casket with him in it in that movie, that is going to suck. That's going to suck. He deserves a lot better than that.
Yeah, Val Kilmer is one of my favorites. So, frankly, he's probably the main reason I'm excited about this film. I love everything Tom Cruise. Like, there's really nothing Tom has done that I've been super disappointed in at least the last decade. But yeah, Val Kilmer coming back, that's frankly like the number one reason why I'm excited to see this film, because, you know, his performances in the last few years have been far and few between. And as said numerous times in Nerd Informants, Val Kilmer is my Batman. So I watch anything and everything that my Batman is in forever and always. So I am excited. So hopefully Top Gun Maverick will hang on to its December date. But I do got to say, out of everything that looks like it's coming to December, and I know Josh is really excited for the artsy films that are coming, you know, the Dune and the West Side Story.
Dune.
I mean, seriously, that's the only thing that's been on my mind since it was announced, is seeing Ryan Reynolds in this movie. It is the perfect Deadpool film without him being in a Deadpool suit that Ryan Reynolds could pull off. And so I'm so excited to see that, because honestly, who hasn't ever thought about being a character in the video game, but then to take it another level and not realize that you're a character in the video game until after you've been living in the video game for an extended amount of time. So it's just, the premise of the movie is ingenious. I'm really hoping that the script writing was awesome in it, and that the storyline, it looks amazing in the trailer. I'm really hoping that actually comes to be when we see the movie, because I've got high hopes for this one being probably one of the top comedies of the year. Because really, out of this horrible, depressing pandemic of 2020 we've had, we just need to laugh. Seriously, so I'm really putting my cards on Ryan Reynolds to make that happen.
I bet.
What do you think, Professor?
You know, I think that movie looks amazing. It looked like a lot of fun to me. So I am definitely excited to see that. Out of those, you know, Dune definitely is the top one on my list. Top Gun's right there afterwards. Top Gun made me want to join the Air Force. I almost signed with the Air Force out of high school because of Top Gun, because they were promising me with my aptitudes that they could get me into pilot school. And I'm like, well, but I don't have to go to the Naval Academy or anything else. I just want to be an Air Force pilot flying fighter planes. You're like, you got perfect eyesight. Yeah, you should be able to do that. And I'm like, they're trying to get me to join. And then I'll be scrubbing toilets. I don't know.
You'll be flying a cargo plane full of rubber, you know, out of Hong Kong.
Exactly. So very excited for Top Gun. So that'll be a lot of fun. Keith,
am I the only one in here that's excited for Coming to America, the sequel?
You know,
I'm more excited about that than the Top Gun, but unlike Tim, I am not a huge Tom Cruise fan. And I would say The Mummy would be a movie that I hated that he was in.
That movie doesn't exist, AJ. That movie's not real. It was a figment of the world's imagination. We all drunk the same Kool-Aid, and it was a bad hallucination. So
The Mummy does not exist in this dojo, AJ.
Wasn't that with Brandon Fraser?
Those were the good ones, at least the first two.
Yes, the first two. Yes.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Jet Li, it was still horrible.
So.
But no, I'm way more excited about the Coming to America sequel than the Top Gun one, just because I love Eddie Murphy from that time frame. I do think that he, over the years, has overacted and over-exaggerated characters to the point that I don't think he needed to. I think back then was his prime, and he should get back to that. But no, I'm way more excited about the Coming to America. So
I'm excited for it. That looks like a lot of fun, because the first movie was a lot of fun. But my hope is, if he does really well here and he's able to go back and tap into the 80s, Beverly Hills Cop. Let's bring it back, baby.
Hey, I mean, if Mel Gibson and Danny Glover are inching closer and closer to a Lethal Weapon 5, we should be able to get a Beverly Hills Cop 4. And I want it. I do not want to see Wonder World. I don't want to see any of that crap. I want to see the first in the vein of the first Beverly Hills Cop. Let's get it back on track.
Yes.
Give us the wisecracking, hard-edged Axel Foley that we all grew up with. I mean, that's what I want to see. But, you know, I'm thinking Hakeem. I'm thinking Zamunda. I think it's going to be great. We're going to get Simi back. And believe me, I tied my shoes once. It was an overrated experience.
I mean, honestly, frankly, we need a Beverly Hills Cop movie just so we can get Judge Reinhold some acting work again. It's been absent since Santa Claus 3.
So I mean, I'm worried that Chevy Chase got hungry once and ate him, and that's where he's been at this entire time. I mean, where is Judge Reinhold?
I mean, the last thing I heard, he was getting in some kerfuffles at the airport, and that was, you know, a decade ago. So
is he hanging out with Randy Quaid somewhere?
Probably.
He could be.
Canada.
You guys know the Celebrity Whackers Club. You know they're out there. I mean, they're after you. Randy Quaid's been in hiding for what, like 2 decades now or something?
Yeah. All I can say, if Judge Reinhold can make a big comeback, let's talk Fast Times at Ridgemont High 2.
Oh man, yeah. And
Class reunion or something.
Treat it like the American Pie films and go back and give them a reunion. I mean, back to Ridgemont or something like that. I don't know what.
Yeah.
I'd pay money to see that.
Spagoli's the principal.
Oh my God. John Penn as the principal in a Fast Times at Ridgemont High movie. Oh my word. Hey, write the script, man. Keith is still in the room. Somebody put pen to paper and let's get started on this.
All right, guys. Well, let's throw up a few more comments here, and then we will do our little wrap up. We appreciate you guys being on with us, Josh and Tim. You guys are awesome. All right. So Keith says Dune is the film to beat in December.
I can't argue with that.
And Bad Boys 3, which that film actually did better than I thought it would, and I still haven't seen it, but I'd watch it. So
you're gonna like it, dude. I will say this, Larry. I mean, Tim and I both, walked away from that movie. I mean, thoroughly in enjoyment, impressed with it. I loved it. I mean, you talk about bouncing back. I mean, the second one really kind of just went off the rails, but the third one got everything back together. It was super sharp. The supporting cast was great in it. I mean, I loved it. I really enjoyed it.
Well, it looked like a lot of fun. The trailers made it look like a lot of fun. So I will see it. I'm sure it'll be on streaming somewhere here soon. And this is for Tim's comment there.
Okay, I guess I was more referring to the director being more of an artist, you know, the visual stuff. You know, he paints a pretty picture.
He does. Well, and actually talking about artistic films, I really am excited for West Side Story. I actually love the original movie and the actual musical play. I just think it's fantastic the way it adapts Romeo and Juliet. So I'm looking forward to see what they do with it. So
I like to snap. So
yeah, exactly. Got the jets going, baby.
Without Dune, there is no Star Wars. Yeah. Period, exclamation point, no expansion on that at all. Ghostbusters Afterlife, that makes me sad that got pushed. I'm looking forward to that one. I think in Jason I trust. I think he's going to shepherd that franchise forward and move it into the future, and he's going to take good care of what his father created. And I think that's
right.
I am okay with those young kids if they're going to be the crux of the Ghostbusters team going forward. I like what I'm seeing. I really, really am. That cast is really good.
I also have great faith in Jason because honestly, you know, he's grown up with the actors who played the original guys in the original cast. So I feel like he's going to pay respect to them in this film in more ways than one. That's my hope. Of course, you know, I'm excited for the franchise to move forward, but also more than anything, I just want them to pay respect to the originals because, man, they really, really butchered any respect possible in the reboot. So just no respect was given to Bill Murray, Aykroyd, Ernie Hudson, Annie Potts, Sigourney Weaver. I mean, they didn't even bring Sigourney in until the after credits. I mean, good grief, it was pitiful. The lack of
Right.
disrespect to those original cast members. So I have trust that the son will respect the father in more ways than one.
I think we need to go up to the top corner because your guys' audio was cutting out, AJ. So we couldn't hear what you were saying. So go ahead. You got the.
I was just saying, if it wasn't for Jason Reitman and just knowing how close to his father he is and how much respect for his father he has, I probably wouldn't have any faith in that movie.
Yeah.
One, the 2016 debacle, of course. Two, I don't know. I've never been a fan of the passing of the torch story. It's just very cliche, and I feel like having Finn Wolfhard in there amps up the cliche on that a little bit. But I like him as an actor, and I'm excited for the movie. I don't know, and especially having Jason on board with it and kind of collaborating with his dad on that. I think it'll be good.
Yeah.
So I'm going to call this right now. At the end of that movie, they're going to do something to cross the streams, to open up a portal, and the four girls from the reboot are going to walk through, and then they'll shut the portal really quick so they stay on the other side.
That's the hope.
Larry, don't put that evil on me. I don't want to find myself sitting in the theater in front of the screen for Ghostbusters Afterlife and then dropping dead of a heart attack at the end of that film. That would suck.
Larry, I'm already going to have nightmares from all the horror movies I'm going to be stuck watching now. Don't put that in my head. I want to sleep tonight.
All right, guys. Well, this has been a lot of fun, and hopefully the people watching have had a great time with us. We've had people watching with us the entire time, so glad you guys have been with us. Thank you for joining us. Tim and Josh, thank you guys. You guys are always welcome to join us and talk, and we'll make double long episodes every time you're on. So that's just fine. We don't care. So for those that don't know, that are regular watchers of ours, and how could you not know? Because we talk about Tim and Josh all the time. We tell you to go out and view their stuff on YouTube and Facebook. Please do that. You can see how awesome these guys are. They've come on the show to talk to us about movies. This is the sort of awesomeness that they bring all the time in their episodes, all the time on their Facebook stuff. Check them out if you haven't. Subscribe to them. Watch them. They're awesome.
Thank you
guys. And this was an absolute blast. I mean, I could spend the rest of the night talking to you guys about movies and everything else in between. That's why our friendships are so amazing. That's why this community is amazing. Everybody brings something to the dance, and it's like family. That's what makes the conversations awesome. It's so easy.
Yeah, you guys were great. Thank you for having us. This has been fantastic and a great way to spend a Tuesday night. I couldn't plan it any better myself.
I agree. Also, guys, make sure to check out the Scallywag, who's right up here, right over there. I can't get my finger right over there. So go out and check out Scallywag Productions out on YouTube. Make sure you guys check
And Instagram.
Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all that good stuff.
Yep.
all that stuff. Check it out. Subscribe to him also. And of course, we have Keith watching, and we don't want to forget those guys, Keith and Gary over at Pop Culture Minefield. Go check them out. They've got all sorts of stuff always on YouTube, doing really cool interviews.
Oh, yeah.
And they've got really cool stuff all over their social media. Also, check them out. Subscribe to them. We have a great group of local nerdy geeks that we like to hang out and we like to have fun. So, you know, everybody's doing really cool stuff. I will say, I did want to say one more thing for you guys. AJ's told me that she's D&D'd with you both, and we're looking to do an online D&D. Are you guys in?
I've never done it, and would like to see how that works. So I'd say count the Nerd Informants in.
That sounds like a cool.
Awesome. So either one of you DM or.
I have never DM'd in my life, and I'm afraid that if I try to DM, I might actually create a bunch of alcoholics in the gaming community. So I'd be willing to try it. Would you be willing to try and be a DM?
Everyone would die within the first 5 minutes.
It'd be exactly like the Princess Bride. Hey, everybody, welcome back to this game this week. Now, where did we leave off last? Oh, yes, the pit of despair, of which you guys are never going to get out.
Playing D&D with these guys, I don't think either one of you had ever played before when we were doing our game.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Very much rookies.
They were so much fun, but I will tell you, Josh got so into his character, and his character hated my character, like to the point that he killed me, like every week. And so yeah, no, I don't know if I'd want Josh DMing. I feel like there might be hostility.
Yeah, I might not have gotten away from it yet because when I was in the D&D world, I was promoting elf discrimination. I'm such a bad person.
Well, at least you're not drinking their blood.
Aha!
Zing.
Okay, guys, be sure to check us out also on GeekyKOOL.com. We have articles that are written by all kinds of contributors. We have the videos, and we're on Facebook and YouTube. Go give us a like and give us a subscribe. If we hit 600 likes by the end of summer, I'm going to give away an original piece of art that the person who wins gets to help me design or tell me what they want. So it's going to be something that's completely up to them on what they win. So be sure to go give us a like and stuff too. So we love our community. We love the Nerd Informants. We love the Pop Culture Minefield, the Scallywag, of course. And you know, if you guys want to write for us, or if you guys want to like contribute in any way, let us know. I know that all of us as a team love like when we can do this, like get together and stuff. The more nerds we have in our community, the better.
Right.
100%.
Agreed.
Well said.
So we got a few last comments before we go. So I'll just throw these out here. Where did it go? Come on. All right. So from our buddy Keith, heavy metal too.
Oh,
That would be interesting.
Yeah, no, and it's, you know, you could do it, but I sit and I think about John Candy comes to my mind. I miss him. I miss him so freaking much. Yeah, I mean, if it can maintain the weirdness of the first one, and actually, I don't want it to be CGI updated. I don't want to have any updated art style. Keep it the same crappy art style that was that made the first one so dang special, and start from there. I love
right
that.
on.
I can get behind that. And hey, just real quick as we sign off, I just wanted to say, just I know it may be on some of our minds, the entire nerd community out there, but please think about the man we lost, because today was his birthday, would have been his birthday. He would have been 69 years old. Rest in peace, Robin Williams.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Miss him greatly.
No doubt. No doubt. Great genius, amazing actor, and yeah.
Matter of fact, I think my bumper sticker all through high school was Yuva Janaya for life. Yeah. Yeah. So if you out there get it, Yuva Janaya Doubtfire. Yes, for life.
Aw, thank
So
you.
Keith's sending us all love here. So
Thank you, Keith.
have a nerdy night, everyone. Thanks, Keith. All right, guys. Well, we will sign off now. Only an hour later than expected. But what do you expect when you get a group of us together?
Yeah.
So, and hopefully we'll have some news about getting a D&D group like this, so we can record this and put that out for everyone to watch. Because I think you would enjoy watching our interaction as much as watching us play a game. So. So stay geeky, and we'll talk to you guys later.
Yeah, right.
Thank you.
Bye.